Owning a pet is expensive at the moment.
We're having to increase prices every week, checking every day because you just don't know. It could be twice a week, but at least once a week, once a fortnight, you will have to increase the prices by £2-3, whereas before it might have been 10-20p. It's a steep incline. Yeah.
The price of pets and pet-related products and services was up 16% year-on-year in April, according to the Office for National Statistics. It's not just pets where prices continue to rise fast. Despite a moderation in the headline UK rate of inflation in April, Britain still has the fastest rate of price increases of any G7 country. But what's more worrying is that we also have the worst core inflation among this group, at 6.8% here in April. That's up from the previous month, so heading in the wrong direction. Core inflation is a measure which excludes volatile components of the inflation basket, such as energy and food. This suggests the UK has a particular underlying problem with inflation, making it stickier here than elsewhere. Some have even suggested we might be the new sick man of Europe, even the developed world, when it comes to rising prices. But is this right? And if so, why? The pet food industry points to a cocktail of UK-specific factors making the situation here worse.
We take 80% of our raw material from the UK, and so we are quite reliant on farming in the United Kingdom, and that has been a pressure. And then obviously there has been some challenges on getting in raw materials due to transport. You know, Brexit hasn't been, so far it hasn't caused huge problems importing, but we have seen export challenges around export health certificates and other issues at the border, you know, checks and so forth. So, and that's impacted on profitability as well. Yeah. Quite a lot of people who worked in pet food factories have come from Central and Eastern European countries. Obviously, quite a lot have gone home.
Say hello to Go.Compare.
Inflation in services in the UK is a particular concern for economists. For instance, UK insurance prices were up 17% year-on-year in April, with travel insurance showing a considerable jump. Some in that industry blame the weakness of our currency, a hangover from last year's mini-budget, which sent sterling to a record low against the dollar.
Traveling to the US now, it's extremely expensive from the travel insurance market, and that is just because of the weak pound against the dollar. And what that means then is the medical costs are much more expensive. So when you are then looking, if you do unfortunately have to make a claim on your travel insurance, everything is just a little bit more expensive. And again, the exchange rate then does affect that. And it's not just the US, we're also seeing it from the euro as well, and that is causing the travel insurance to go up. In the car insurance market, that is the cost of car parts and the cost of claims themselves. So we're seeing a huge increase in the cost of claims. And again, cars are more expensive to buy and more expensive to fix. So this all unfortunately goes into the cost of a consumer, and it all goes into their car insurance premium.
Let's go with the first table, please.
We all know about double-digit food inflation, but official data shows that inflation in UK restaurants and cafes is also still running at 9.4%. It should be said that not every economist is convinced the UK is an international outlier when it comes to inflationary pressures. Yet those that are point to two big likely culprits: Brexit and the outsized and lasting impact of COVID on our available workforce. And when one talks to individual businesses, one does find those two themes coming up repeatedly.
Labour has been an issue since Brexit. Obviously, there's a chronic staff shortage in our sector. We've been very imaginative where we get our staff from, but ultimately it's down to each company's own resources and imagination and innovation. That's led to 19-20% inflation in labour. The last 2 years, we've increased pricing by 5% both Aprils. So over a 24-month period, we've pretty much had a 10% increase. So that in no way reflects the inflationary costs that we've had hurt us, and our margins have depleted as a result.
The government says the UK is being shaken overwhelmingly by global inflationary forces, and the Chancellor and Prime Minister have committed to halve domestic inflation this year. Yet hospitality sector leaders say there are other specific factors related to government policy during the COVID period which are contributing to a UK-specific inflation problem today.
It's undoubtedly tougher for the hospitality sector in the UK. During COVID, they had to take out loans. The government provided unprecedented support, but it did make them take out loans. So at the moment, our businesses are prioritising paying down government debt rather than investing in jobs and growth in their businesses. And that means they've got no headroom to manage the difficult cost challenges that they've got coming through in energy and food.
Rather like the murder on the Orient Express, for firms there is no shortage of suspects for the cause of the UK's apparently stickier inflation. In truth, the economic jury is still out on whether Britain is truly the global inflationary invalid. But the symptoms so far are not encouraging.